Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julie Noble, and this is the June 23rd, 2021 meeting of the Climate Smart Kingston Commission. And I would like to call this meeting to order. It is 5:07 p.m. Tonight with us, we have Commissioners Betta Broad, Melissa Iacchetta, Jessica Coonan, Kevin McAvoy, Roberto Rivera, and Cal Truman. We also have myself as the Parks and Recreation Liaison and Climate Smart Kingston Commission Chair. And we also have representative from the Engineering Office, Ellie Gartenstein. We have several guests tonight, including folks that are here for our Solarize Kingston launch. So I'd like to welcome everyone and offer it up if anyone would like to make any public comment for the record. Okay, hearing none, we will move on to modifications to the agenda. Are there any modifications to the agenda? Hearing none, we will move on to review and approval of the May 2021 meeting minutes. I fully understand if folks want to table this. I did not send out the minutes until earlier today. If people have had a chance to review it and feel comfortable, we can entertain a motion to approve those. If people feel like they'd like to table it, we can table it till July. Did folks have a moment to get to review the minutes?
I know that I did not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Okay. So then I think that we should probably table that until next month. So please take a look at the May minutes for next month, and we will review those at the same time that we review the June minutes. Thank you, Kevin, for putting those together. I appreciate that. So I am going to now pass it over to Ellie Gartenstein, who is here as the engineering representative. She also works, most of her time is spent in the sustainability office, in my office, and Ellie is in this context, she is managing the Solarize Kingston campaign. And so I'm going to hand it to her and she is going to launch us. So Ellie, I'm going to make you oh no, I'm not going to make you co-host. I'm just going to share my screen. All right, floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Julie. Today at our June 23rd Climate Smart Kingston Commission meeting, we are launching our Solarize Kingston campaign, which is a campaign that we are doing in collaboration with Ulster County and Solarize Ulster. Solarize Kingston is an effort to provide residents of the city of Kingston with the opportunity to enroll in a community solar project. Community solar is a way for anyone who pays an electric bill, even if you're a renter, to participate in a solar power project, even if you can't install panels on your own home for whatever reason. Julie, could you go to the next slide? When you subscribe to a community solar program, you are providing the capital resources that are required to produce solar power and put clean energy into our collective utility grid. So our utility grid delivers electricity that is produced through mixed methods, mainly from coal burning and other non-sustainable practices, the fossil fuel industry. And these methods pollute our environment and they damage our planet. So it's a whole lot of fossil fuels and not nearly as much renewables. So when you pay your electricity bill, a portion of that cost does go into the pocket of the fossil fuel industry. Could you go to the next slide? But there's a way to transform our utility grid. If you subscribe to community solar, you can make sure that your dollars are going to clean energy production and not to coal burning and oil drilling or natural gas drilling and nuclear power plants and all that stuff that we don't really like. Your investment in a community solar project will help expand solar infrastructure. And look at all that solar, it looks so much nicer to me. Next slide, please. You will also be helping New York move towards our goal of 70% renewable energy by 2030 and 100% renewable energy by 2050. And those are big goals, and they require us to all get involved and all do our part in any way that we can. And community solar is a really great way for every person to be a part of this movement. Next slide. Additionally, when you subscribe, you will receive 10% off your electricity bill annually and a $100 gift card. So that 10% is cumulative. Each month, the percentages might vary depending on the amount of solar produced. But over the course of the year, you will see 10% reduction in your energy bill costs. Additionally, $100 will be donated to the Ulster County Green New Deal so that the county can accelerate the transition to clean energy, build an equitable green economy, conserve our natural resources, and of course, build resiliency. Next slide, please. So community solar is something you can enroll in at any time, but understanding the process and choosing from many providers in our area can feel like a big task, a daunting task. And that's why Ulster County has launched their community solar campaign, which is what we are doing. We're doing this in collaboration with them. The county has already vetted and pre-selected 3 reliable local providers to make the process simple for everybody. And our 3 providers are Common Energy, Solstice, and Power Market, and they're on today to give short presentations of their services and to answer any questions you might have concerning community solar. So that was my quick intro. We're going to hand it over to our providers. Just so everybody knows, we will have time for question and answers after the presentations. So we're going to let the 3 organizations go ahead with their presentations, and then afterwards, any questions you got, we can work through. So first up, we have Nick Mirsky from Solstice. I'll hand it over to Nick.
Yeah, thank you so very much. Can I have screen sharing? I have a brief presentation for everybody.
I think that I actually just got the co-host, so wrong Nick to throw it over his way.
Yeah,
There's a lot of us.
Nick, sorry, Bodwin? I assume you're here for Danielle, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Nick Mirsky from Solstice is going to go first.
Okay, thank you very much. So my name is Nick Mirsky. I work with Solstice, and it's my extreme pleasure to be here today talking about the Solarize Ulster campaign and how we can all do our part to make the world a little bit better and a little bit greener. I work for Solstice. We've been working in the Hudson Valley for about 4.5 years now. It's the first place that we ever worked on a project, and we're super excited to help bring this to the residents of Kingston. Just a little bit about Solstice. I'll go ahead and get rid of myself here. We are a mission-driven organization at Solstice. We believe that everybody should have access to to renewable energy. But because there are so many barriers of entry to folks, roughly around 80% of Americans cannot access a renewable energy program. And that's what makes community solar so great. It's the most accessible program because a lot of people cannot actually put solar on their roofs. And for anybody who can't, this is the best program out there for them. Community solar saves people money. It's easy for people to go green. And I think I speak for all of the providers. We really hope that everybody who watches this presentation signs up for it, because it's an absolute win-win situation for the county, for Kingston, for residents. A part of our mission-driven aspect, Solstice, is we really focus on local community wealth building. So we're super excited to be helping the county by donating to the Green New Deal initiative. Similarly, at Solstice, we believe that by giving back to local community groups, we are able to make a larger difference together. In 2019, we actually donated over $40,000 to nonprofits in the area, and in 2021, we're hoping to donate more than $80,000. And we do this because whenever a person signs up for community solar, we are donating to a local group as people join. I believe that's a super local group on the left with a campaign we ran with the Art Society of Kingston back in 2019. So this is our little infographic for why community solar. And the reality is just there's a lot of obstacles that people face. I'd say it's likely that there's people on this meeting who've looked into renewable energy for their rooftop or in their yard. And for one reason or another, we're unable to do it. Oftentimes things like roof shading, roofs facing the wrong directions, old roofs, or just people renting or not owning their rooftop really prohibits people from actually getting into renewable energy. And it's too bad because renewable energy saves money and helps to fight against, mitigate climate change. And so community solar is a really great way to make sure that everybody can access renewable energy, people who have faced these issues before. The way that it works is really quite simple. The solar farms that we're working on at Solstice are constructed and plugged into the grid, and they provide Central Hudson with electricity. People who subscribe onto the solar farm are still on their grid, and they're still getting electricity piped on the power lines, but they're supporting the community solar farm. So the energy that's being produced at the solar farm is being turned into a credit and then being applied to the customer's bill. Those credits are 10% less expensive. So everybody who joins community solar is going to save around 10% over the course of the year without having to do any alterations to their apartment or their home. It's essentially a way to access easy savings for folks. A really common concern or question that comes up is how does it work and how is it different? How does it link up with utility? So for Solstice, what we do is we do a monthly email to let you know how well your panels produce for that month. Obviously, sunshine can change from day to day and season to season, and so the energy produced from it does as well. We consolidate all this into an email so you can see how much money you're saving. And we also do some equivalency conversions to see how much carbon you're taking off of the grid, how many equivalents of trees you're producing just by supporting your local solar farm. We do something called consolidated billing. So for anybody who joins our project through the Solarize Ulster campaign, you'll receive one bill. You'll receive one bill from your utility, and it's going to be about 10% cheaper once the solar project turns on, which is slated to do at the end of July. For anybody who misses that project, we'll be slated on to the next one. And again, it'll be one bill. You'll see 10% savings as soon as the project goes live. Consolidated billing takes a lot of the headache out of community solar, so you don't have to pay attention to multiple things. Yeah, it makes it really easy from a customer's perspective. These are a host of some of the local and regional partners that we work with, people that we have donated to and we're really proud to be working with. And again, we hope that everybody who is on this call takes advantage of this opportunity, not just because there's a bonus that's going to fund the Green New Deal, not just because we're able to help connect people to a cheaper energy bill, but because it's also helping to connect people to, or helping us fund our local community partners. In addition, anybody who joins this project will be eligible for $100 enrollment bonus. So you can benefit, the county can benefit, our local community partners can benefit. It's a really win-win-win scenario with zero drawback and hassle. For anybody who, after this meeting, is interested in learning more or signing up, I would strongly encourage them to either go to our registration page or to go to Solarize Ulster's registration page. If you have questions about the process, you are welcome to call our toll-free number, talk to a person and see if it's right for you. And I'm sure there will be questions at the end, but I guess we'll save questions till the end. So I will stop screen sharing. But thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Now we have Power Market with the other Nick, and we also have Pat Courtney Strong. She's still on? Oh, there she is. Sorry, I couldn't find her.
Here I am.
We have Pat Courtney Strong, who's also from Power Market. So Nick, will you be sharing your screen? Okay.
Yes, I will. 1 second.
You should be good to go.
All right. Am I coming through? Awesome. Okay. So my name is Nick Bodwin. I'm the managing director at Power Market, and we are a New York-based community solar company. So we exist to promote solar and promote solar for all and to make sure that people are seeing savings on their bill. Like I said, we are a New York company. That's where we were born. We were born out of the NYSERDA incubator, the Urban Future Lab in New York City. And we've grown from 3 people all the way up to 25 folks, most of which, if not all of which, are located in New York. So we call New York our home state. We've had one of the first community solar projects in the state, one of the first community solar projects in the Hudson Valley. So we're really excited to see, all this solar growth that has happened. We also joined up with Pat Courtney Strong, who I'll pass it over to you, Pat, in a couple slides. You need very little introduction around these parts, but I'm looking around the meeting and I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces myself. So it's good to see everyone, albeit in a virtual context. So to move on, so we have a couple community solar projects in the Central Hudson area, and very similar to Solstice, they are net crediting, and so you are only going to see one bill. A lot of the projects that we have developed in the past have been that dual bill scenario, but we're really excited for New York to consolidate the bill and just see a 10% reduction in your bill. We have projects that are operational immediately. If you want to get on a project right now, operational in a couple months, and then a couple months after that as well. So whenever you're ready to get into community solar and participate, we have a project for you, and we would be very excited for you to participate. So we Power Market, we have over 30,000 community solar subscribers. So we're one of the older companies that have been managing subscribers. And ultimately, it's all about putting money back into the pockets of our subscribers. And so to this point, we've actually put over $1.5 million back into the pockets in the form of savings, of course, back into the pockets of our subscribers. So we're looking to provide that equity in the Hudson Valley as well. And again, Pat, I'll pass it over to you, and
Thanks, Nick.
you can take from there.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I am a former commissioner of this group. I learned a lot from the time I spent on this committee, so I'm happy to be back. This is my second time working with Power Market. I also participated in 2019 when they first set up projects in Central Hudson Territory, and we signed up great partners then like Rupco and Family of Woodstock and Bard College. Now this time around, we're partnering with some of my particular passion projects, which include Citizens for Local Power, Made in Kingston, the Midtown Business Alliance. These are organizations that I have spent a lot of time supporting and working for over the years. And so I wanted to give back to them. So they are our partners who are earning incentives for every sign up. So if you've been to any of these presentations before, there's a lot of incentives surrounding community solar right now in New York. There's a sign up for the individual. There's a sign up. There's a bonus that goes to Ulster County, rightly, for being the host. And then we're providing a incentive to the organizations that partner with us. So next slide. This is a recent e-blast that Citizens for Local Power sent out to give the plan a boost, and we're already seeing some nice feedback from this. So we will be getting out our checkbook to send a check to a very deserving local organization that works on green job training and helping the city of Kingston with its climate action plan and many other activities. And I just couldn't be happier to be part of Ulster County's project here. And I hope all three companies are as successful as I know we can be.
Thanks very much, Pat. And really quickly, to sign up, we built a marketplace that you can come to, and as well, I don't know if my cursor is being tracked here, but you can check out the projects in your local area, find the ones that are coming online the soonest, find the projects that are geographically closer to you, and really find the project that's right for you. So we're excited to have as many people as we can sign up, as many people as we can get involved in solar. And if you have any questions, we'll of course stick around for the Q&A, but you can visit our marketplace, give us a call, send us an email, and I'll pass it back over. Thanks very much, everybody.
Ellie, you're muted.
Okay, thank you, Nick and Pat. So last up, we have Thea from Common Energy. So Thea, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Okay, just let me know if you can see the screen. Okay, great. So thanks so much. So first of all, I just want to thank Ellie and Julie in the town of Kingston for hosting this, and also Ulster County community for selecting Common Energy for this great initiative. Also, just want to introduce you to the Common Energy team, kind of who we are and what we do. Well, here are a couple notable members of our board. Dr. Ernest Moniz, he was actually the U.S. Energy Secretary under President Obama, so the 13th U.S. Energy Secretary. We also have Bill Weil on our board, who is the head of sustainability with Facebook and Google. And then, of course, Richard Kaiser, who is our founder and CEO. Also on the call is my counterpart, Malcolm Bliss, who is the VP of Partnerships. And then myself, I'm Thea Copley, and I am the Director of Partnerships. So our overarching mission is to mitigate climate change, and we do that by accelerating the transition to clean energy by way of community solar. We run at Common Energy over 70 solar farms, and we have over 12,000 subscribers. Common Energy is one of the largest, actually, providers of community solar in the nation. We are running, obviously, in New York, but we also have farms all the way to Oregon. So we have Maine, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maryland, New Jersey, Minnesota, and Illinois. We'll cover all that in a little more detail in further slides. Here you can see that we were founded in New York about 3 years ago, registered with the New York State Department of Public Service. So you could kind of say that we were born at the dawn of the community solar program. And together with the state of New York, we will bring community solar to the homes in New York. This next slide is actually Catskill Mountain Range. So you can see the green county here that stretches right through Ulster County. Just wanted to share some information on our efforts here at Common Energy. We have over 12,000 subscribers at this point, who total megawatt hours is 250,000 with all of our projects that we cover through the nation. That is 325 million kilowatt hours of clean energy per year, resulting in 250 million pounds of carbon emissions avoided. And so for the numbers, people, that's 6 billion pounds of carbon emissions avoided through the lifetime of these projects. And as you can see here on the bottom left, that's equivalent to the impact of about 135 million trees. So pretty much. Next, I'd just like to share with you a little bit of the work that we do with other companies across the nation. We work with leading companies throughout the nation like Akamai, Microsoft, LinkedIn, to run employee engagement programs. So this is a Business Wire press release that was out for this purpose. And this just gives you the information of the program that we run. So Malcolm and I run these programs. They're turnkey programs that deliver webinars such as this one, and additional information to the employees of these larger companies. It's a really great initiative, and it builds not only the awareness, but obviously accelerates the adoption of clean energy. And we do that through these co-branded landing pages. So we co-brand landing pages with the different companies, and similar to what we're doing today, people just enroll through this landing page. In the middle, you'll see the sign up button. So you just click on that sign up button. It literally takes 2 minutes of your time to sign up for clean energy. And you'll need 2 pieces of information: your username and password for your utility company, and then of course the form of payment. And the great thing about this site is on the bottom, you can see the enrollment numbers. So currently for the town of, for this initiative with Solarize Ulster, we have 5 enrolled and 2 in progress. So that's great. We're really pumping toward our goal and hope to achieve that. And goodbye Central Hudson utility bill. So we also have a consolidated billing method, and we unify the billing with your utility company and Common Energy. So instead of receiving the bill from the utility, you will receive the bill in the future from Common Energy. You will have the original utility bill here, as well as your savings stated, and then of course your lower total amount. And the most important part, your impact. You can see what you do for a positive impact each month. And then next, I'd like to turn it over to Malcolm Bliss, my counterpart, who will cover the final slides and show you a few of our projects.
Thank you, Thea. In this slide, I just want to highlight some of the work we do to make sure there's equity and to highlight some of the justice component of the work we do. We currently have 2 megawatts of capacity in New York State reserved for low and moderate income households. And we're teamed with the state of New York to do that through the NYSERDA Solar for All program. We're really excited to bring the savings of community solar to households that can benefit most from that. So reduce their energy burden. Similarly, teaming with state of Maryland, we have 5 megawatts of capacity reserved for low and moderate income households there, and currently have similar programs in place in states of New Jersey and Oregon to continue our mission of making sure that there's justice in the rollout of clean energy. Beyond that, our teaming goes to organizations that also work for justice, including organizations serving inner city, like the inner city of Chicago, Greater Englewood, working with New Yorkers for clean power, but really close to home is in Albany. We're one of the first to team with people of Albany United for safe energy, and also have exclusive endorsement from Solarize Albany, an organization that acts like a Consumer Reports for the capital region. So we're really excited to team with them and all the partners here, where we're teaming with them to bring lower cost clean energy to the communities and also benefiting them with support. Thea mentioned earlier about the solar farms. I wanted to highlight here images. If you don't get out too much, sometimes you find images of solar farm are really beautiful. And I like these. These happen to all be in the Hudson Valley or upstate New York further beyond the Hudson Valley. All are available to residents of Ulster. These solar farms are activated and producing energy, except for Stanford, which is scheduled to be activated and producing energy next week or the following week. So these solar farms are ready to serve you. And whether you are an Ulster resident or beyond Ulster who receives utility electric service from Central Hudson or from NYSEG, we have a solar farm ready for you that will provide you with energy and savings as described. One thing that we're really excited about is piloting a new way for vegetation management by the Enfield Solar Farm. We're really glad to collaborate with local farmers to provide grazing opportunities for sheep that also provide services to the solar farm in terms of vegetation management. So local farmers benefit, the solar farm benefits. Vegetation can interfere with the operation of the solar farm if not managed. So we're really happy to team with local farmers and also provide grazing opportunity for their sheep. So really excited about that on our Enfield Solar Farm. If this proves effective, we will then be rolling out the sheep vegetation management to other solar farms. Just wanted to reiterate what Thea said about easy to sign up. Should take 5 minutes if you're moving at a pretty leisurely pace, or 2 minutes if you're hustling. Please, as everybody else said, support the transition to clean energy, participate in New York State Community Solar Program. There is a $100 incentive. We're so happy to team for you for enrolling. We're so happy to team with everybody on the phone, the County of Ulster and Kingston. Thank you for arranging it, and thanks for your time.
All right, thank you, Thea. Thank you, Malcolm. Thank you, all the presenters. I'm really excited about this campaign. You know, solar infrastructure is just awesome. We do have some questions popping up in the chat. I saw one from Cal I saw one from Nick from Solstice, and oh, Pat, you're answering Cal's question. Okay, Cal, do you want to just
Sorry.
ask your question out loud so we can all?
Sure. Sorry, I was looking through the different sign up pages while listening, and I noticed that on the Power Market sign up, there was a space for a referral code or a promo code. I don't know if all of them have that further in, but just curious to know if there's like affiliate codes that should be used to support various local orgs, or what that space is for. That was my question.
Right. So I had mentioned that our three partners are Made in Kingston, the Business Alliance of Kingston, and Citizens for Local Power. So if you put their name or initials on the bottom left, where it says, I think it says promo code or referral code, they will get a $50 credit. They'll $50 check.
Thank you for reiterating that.
Yes.
Nick, from Solstice, I saw that you have an array in Kingston listed on the Solarize Ulster website, and I was curious where in Kingston, just because that's cool to know.
Let me double check.
Okay, yeah, no worry. It's not that important. I was just curious. And then I was excited to see the sheep grazing at the Enfield array for Common Energy. So thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you, Cal. Well, Nick from Solstice is getting the information. Does anyone else have any other questions? Yes, Roberto. Roberto, you're muted.
Good?
Yep.
You unmuted and then remuted.
I have a point of information.
Okay. Pat, why don't you go real quick? Roberta, you have to unmute. Can you go after Pat? Okay.
If I am not mistaken, the Solstice project is on Route 32. I believe they worked with Laura Hartman's Citizens for Ulster Citizens on that project a few years ago.
Right, so as you're driving out 32 and you pass the veterinarian's office, it's on the left-hand side.
I believe so, yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Pat. Roberto, are you?
You can invite him to unmute. That might make it easier.
Roberto, can you unmute yourself?
Hey, what about now?
Roberto, unmute yourself.
Yes?
Sorry.
Am I in?
Does everyone hear that? Julie, can you mute everybody?
He signed in on 2 devices.
Okay.
Testing. Okay, I think we're good.
All right.
Roberta.
Am I unmuted?
You are good. All right, we're ready.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Question. Couple of questions. One, what happens if you demand exceeds capacity from a particular solar farm? How do you deal with that? Does that happen? Is it possible to happen? And what would happen? Would it then revert to Central Hudson to make up the difference?
I can go ahead and
I can
Field
go
that
ahead,
one.
Nick.
sorry, just go ahead, Malcolm. We went in at the same time. It's fine.
All right. Okay. So here's the thing is, there's the same network engineers and operators continue to run the network even once you join the solar farm. Just as they do now, after you enroll, they will continue to ensure delivery of electricity to your household. So there's no change in the reliability, availability of electricity for you as a result of enrolling. Whatever experience you have now, you're going to experience the same in the future. No change from enrolling in a solar farm, because the same network engineers, the same operators, still doing their same job, very complicated stuff. They make sure electrons flow all the time. When the electrons flow from the solar farm, they flow into the grid and displaces traditionally generated energy. That's a good thing. Doesn't change your liability or dependability. Regarding the number of subscriptions and availability for subscription on a solar farm, once a solar farm is fully subscribed, then anybody else who wants to subscribe should wait to the next solar farm and enroll on the next solar farm if and when one is available. May the program continue to accelerate? But I think that's a few angles on your question. I hope I helped answer it and would invite anybody else to add to that response.
No, yes, you did. I mean, so basically you monitor carefully to make sure that this doesn't occur in terms of over subscribing.
Exactly. In fact, it's a big job. It's the New York ISO that takes care of that work. They're really good at it. And so I'm glad they can continue to do their work, but that is exactly right. They make sure people continue to get electricity.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions?
I have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
For power, does power market, do they own farms, or do they have farms, or are they like a clearinghouse for solar farms?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do not own solar farms. We're not developers. We're simply just an administrator of
Okay.
community solar. So we just make sure that everything is going smoothly. You know, solar developers, we leave all the development to the solar developers. They're extremely good at what they do. But then as soon as those projects turn on, since there are hundreds of people on each project, obviously you need software and you need a team of people that understand all the policy that needs to happen and communicate with the utilities. And then of course, doing all the work that Malcolm was talking about before of sliding people into the project and removing people as they move. So there's a lot of administrational work, and that's where we sit.
Okay, and do you monitor as well? Do you monitor the usage and
Yes. That is a big part of it, administrational, of the administrational scope. That is, we do that a lot on a monthly basis.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
All right, anyone else have any questions?
Just one clarification. That's the Eddyville site on Route 32, right? The Cypress Creek. I think it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just posted in the
Yeah,
address
yeah,
that we
yeah.
have in our projects tab.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it's the Cypress Creek project.
Actually, only one more question. I'm sorry. This is curious, out of curiosity. The third one, that's common energy, right? Why do you have your own bills as opposed to not having Central Hudson or the actual grid bill the customer?
Well, thanks for that question. There's a couple of reasons. One, we've been doing that for in excess of a year now, more than a year, because people asked us for it and the utilities weren't ready to do it. So we said, look, customers really want this. Let us deliver this for customers. And we heard it. And so we're not dependent on the utilities to make that happen. The other reason is we'd like to think that is a more useful and friendly and informative statement than the utilities provide. The statement highlights what your bill would have been, what your savings are in dollars, and then what your new bill is. So it shows your savings plus your environmental impact, which you're not going to get that detailed that clearly, and not environmental impact from your utility bill. And those are the two reasons why we have done it and why we continue to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, just so everybody knows, I quickly put the links to the Solarize Kingston and the Solarize Ulster pages in the chat. You can find information for the providers on both those pages. It's pretty much the same information, so whichever way you choose to access it. just so everybody knows that's there. Does anyone else have any other questions? All right, if nobody else has any other questions, I'll hand it back over to Julie. Oh, Julie, do you have a question?
Sure. I just wanted to give Europa a moment if you wanted to speak on behalf of the county at all, if there's anything you wanted to add or note. I wanted to just give you an opportunity.
Great. Well, thank you, Julie. I think I know most of you. I'm Europa McGovern with Department of the Environment at Ulster County. First of all, I just want to commend Kingston for joining on the campaign. This is great. We're really excited about it. I was actually about to jump for my next meeting, but I did want to mention that 3 other towns in the county are also promoting the campaign through their own local efforts. The Town of Olives campaign is currently active, and then Hurley and Saugerties will be launching their campaign soon. So if anyone is listening in or thinks their community might be interested, feel free to jump on. I think it'll only benefit the residents and the campaign and all the communities that want to join. So this is great. And I think Ellie, thank you for mentioning it's part of County Executive Ryan's Green New Deal program, which is launched on Earth Day. So we're really excited, and we'll keep it live through the end of the year, at least on the county webpage. So thank you, everyone. Excellent presentations, and we appreciate all of the partners. We're kind of making the rounds now, doing these launch events for all the local towns. So it's great.
Great. Thank you, Europa. And just to remind folks, you can register if you go to the Solarize Kingston page or the Solarize Ulster page. That will help you understand how to register. It seems very, very simple. And I hope that everyone takes a moment to go through that process. I am a fully solar home, and I fully support this, and I hope that everyone else can do the same. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to our solar providers for coming. Thank you to Ellie for presenting. And those of you providers, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you'd like, but we also can give you your time off to have with the rest of your family for the night. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great evening, everybody.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank
you
you.
all.
Julie, I have a question for you, I think.
Me?
Yes, I think it's for you.
Okay.
Only if it's not. Is the city doing anything so I'm sure the city is doing something, but what is the city doing to spread the word about Solarize Ulster, Solarize Kingston? Is there stuff in the paper? Is there stuff on the socials? What's happening?
Yeah, so basically we're launching this now, and we have a whole kind of marketing plan. We have a website. Well, I don't know, Ellie, you know it more intimately than I do, but you want to go ahead.
Ellie question.
Oh yeah, so we are putting out a press release.
Okay.
I think it's coming out tomorrow. We are also going to be tabling at the farmers market. We're going to be on Radio Kingston. We're going to post it on the city website. We're going to post it. We could post it on the Parks and Rec website too, since the Office of Sustainability is here. But we're doing a lot of social media, and then we will be at the farmers market.
And the mayor's going to put in his newsletter.
Yes, newsletter, press release, whole bunch of stuff. And anything else, if anyone has any other ideas, we're totally open to publicity. So.
I was just curious. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right, excellent. So we will hope that everyone can help to push this. And, this is our second Solarize campaign. We did Solarize Kingston as one of the early Solarize, campaigns on the state several years ago. And at that time, we were able to sign up 10 folks. At that time, it was a little bit of a different Solarize campaign. This was to get folks to actually put solar on their homes. I hope that, and our goal is to really at least triple that number with this campaign, because this is so incredibly simple. It doesn't involve you touching your home at all. And we're proud that the county is doing it, and we're proud to be part of it. So whatever you all can do to help us promote would be fantastic. And I know that Beta has been involved with the county as well with the Solarize campaign. And obviously many people on this call have their hands in solar. So it's important to us, and I'm glad that we could do this. Beta, did you want to add anything? I should have given you an opportunity.
Oh, no, that's okay. I mean, I guess the only thing I'll add is, our beloved John Wackman was really the leader of Solarize Hudson Valley and just did a phenomenal job, launching that campaign. And I'm sure, many of us have fond memories of John bringing everyone together for that. So he's just dearly missed. And I, hope that this campaign is a big success. And yeah, we should all share it, on social media. And I was going to put together a little post about John, which I never did. And we'll, include a link to this. And yeah, in his spirit, we can keep building the movement for Solarize, and of course all the other great stuff that everyone on the commission does to create a better Kingston and a better world. But just felt like I should mention him.
Thank you. All right, is there any other discussion about Solarize?
I'd just like to make a statement and say that this is a great way to get solar to the people. This is the absolute way.
Yeah, great. Very, very accessible. We just need to let people know about it. And what better time to do it when there's an incentive and when someone's doing the legwork for you. So let's hope we can really kick this out. Any other comments or questions about Solarize? All right, so we will go on to old business. Climate Action Plan 2030 update. We had a project advisory committee meeting recently, and at that meeting we went over all the results of the final evaluations of where Cadmus had evaluated based on feasibility, based on political will, based on community accessibility for about 21 different actions, potential actions that they would go into depth about, well, in this coming climate action plan. The project advisory committee was able to weigh in. We had great conversation about, everyone prioritizing what we thought was the most valuable from a city's perspective, giving our input onto, what would be the most value added. There's a lot of actions that we're going to continue to do, whether or not they're identified in the climate action plan, but what do we want Cadmus to do to really go in depth and help us strategize on how to get these actions done. And so now we are in the phase when they are actually writing this, or developing the strategies, doing the modeling and writing the plan. Our timeline right now is that we're hoping to have a draft plan in September, which would then be reviewed and go out to the public, hopefully for completion by October, and then we would send it to the Common Council for them to adopt this year with this council. So that is our goal. You can continue to get updates at engagekingston.com, which is sort of the clearinghouse for the climate action plan activities. And I guess that's where we are with the climate action plan. I'm excited to be getting down to the time when, well, within the next couple of weeks, we're going to really be able to pinpoint and identify based on the evaluation that's been done so far and some final feedback by the project advisory committee on what the top 5 to 10 actions are going to be. And once we have that information, I'm going to be reaching out to folks that have those kind of actions, whether it be, energy efficiency or renewables or local food production or whatever we land on as the focus, a combination of those for sure. Folks that this is within your wheelhouse for input, for review, for assistance, those sorts of things. So keep an eye out for that. Any questions on the climate action plan, or anyone want to add anything? Okay. Dan's not able to be here for refrigerants update. I will just say that I might have mentioned this the last time, but I have been speaking with Department of Public Works to reach out to West Kingston Recycling about evaluating how we manage our refrigerants. I'm still need to follow up with them to see about what the plan is or what the new plan might be. So I don't really have an update on that unless anyone else has any other updates on refrigerants. Oh, we do have an update. Ellie and I have been working with Dan and others on moving forward legislation to correct the current city code. So our current city code mentions the word Freon multiple times when really it's referencing refrigerants as a whole. Freon is a brand name. And just like we wouldn't use any other brand name in other contexts, we wanted to encapsulate refrigerants so that nothing is missed. And so at the last Laws and Rules meeting, which was last week, Ellie and I presented to the Laws and Rules Committee proposed legislation to change the reference to Freon to refrigerants, from Freon to refrigerants, anytime it's referenced in city code, and additionally within the city's fee structure. So the fee structure is set up every year and adopted by the council at the beginning of the year, which basically says, you know, if you recycle at the transfer station, it costs this. If you bring in a tire, it costs this. If you go to summer camp, it costs this. If you buy a pencil, it costs this, that kind of thing. And in that fee structure, it also references Freon. So that will then need to technically go to the finance committee since it's related to finances for the city. And that will go to finance in July, likely. So this legislation will be voted on either, I'm not sure how they'll do it. They may vote on the law part of it at the July meeting, or they might hold off and do them both in August. Either way, I want to thank Ellie for doing the lion's share on that. And Ellie, I don't know if I missed anything or if you want to add anything to that.
No, that's pretty much it. At the last meeting, Dan, Maya, and I talked about maybe policy regulating refrigerants. I've just been doing a little research on that, nothing substantial though. So that's all I would have to say.
Okay, great. Any other questions or comments on refrigerants?
It's gone to Laws and Rules already, and now it's going to finance because of the fees, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard. Okay.
Okay, an update on city sustainability projects. We are still moving forward the organic subversion plan. We have doubled our frequency of how often we are meeting, so we are trying to move this thing along a little bit faster, but we're still working on it. Ellie has been instrumental in gathering data for us, and so I want to thank you for doing that. Parks projects, I was mentioning offline at the beginning of the call, but we have had quite a bit of activity recently with playgrounds. Just this week, we had a ribbon cutting for Barman Park Playground, which is on the corner of Greenkill and South Clinton. So please check that out. It's our first fully handicap accessible playground in the city of Kingston with a rubber surface made of recycled rubber tires that will last a really long time and is now fully accessible for folks to play and be on that surface with their families. So we're proud of that. We are going to be having a ribbon cutting probably in mid-July for the Raquel Knox Park. I just ordered the new playground for Kingston Point, and that should be installed in September. The parking lot and soccer field project down at Kingston Point, that phase of the project, construction will start in the beginning, by the end of this month. So we should see that, and that will be completed by early September as well. And I had mentioned Block Park paving in our previous call. That is going to be going to construction this year as well. I don't have a date for that, but I will keep folks posted on that. Also, we've been moving very swiftly as possible on the Andretta Pool and Deet Stadium retrofits. So if all goes according to the plan in the next 3 days, we should be opening the pool next week and the splash pad next week. So the first splash pad that we have in our city park system, and it will be free this year. So we really hope that folks can go to the Andretta Pool and check that out. And if you can't get there, you can get down to, maybe you can get to Kingston Point Beach, also free and great for swimming. We have been promoting and advertising the campaign that we've started to make incredible amounts of renovations at Deet Stadium. We're looking at a $15.9 million capital project, and we've got $5 million of it so far, and are really looking for the city government to be bonding for the rest of the money. So we're looking for support for folks who really are behind, improvements at Duke Stadium. We're not looking for money from you all. We're just looking for folks to get behind the project so that we can make sure that we're all on the same page moving forward with that. That's probably most of the parks projects. Something else I wanted to mention was Ellie's been working on the moving forward an anti-idling law. We got support from that last month from you all. Ellie and I presented that to the Laws and Rules Committee this month. Also last week, it was a busy Laws and Rules meeting for us. And I will say that there was quite a bit of discussion as a whole. The Laws and Rules Committee at least communicated that they were in support of this law. They did want to see some modified language, some specifics related to an upper and lower limit for temperature, and also specifics related to an exemption for folks who work primarily out of their vehicle. Ellie and I are looking into that to make sure that the language that we have captures that and doesn't basically give an out for everyone to idle. So we are balancing those things there. We're going to be presenting them some additional language by the end of the month for them to review next month. That will also need to go to finance because there is a fee associated with idling that we are proposing that is consistent with all the other traffic violations. So we still have to go to finance for that. We're going to be seeing that again on the Laws and Rules meeting in the future month to reevaluate some additional language. And thank you to Ellie for doing the lion's share on that project as well. And we also presented a third piece of legislation to the council at the Laws and Rules meeting, and that was to start having to create a violation for non-electric vehicles that are parking in electric vehicle charging stations. This was voted into law by the state last year or 2019. And we wanted to adopt this as a local law as well with a violation fee associated with it. So it went to Laws and Rules. It was passed unanimously through Laws and Rules. So it will then go to the council, but it still needs to go to finance. Finance will vote on whether or not on what the fee would be associated with that. So we expect that to be on finance in July. And I want to thank Ellie for that, working on that as well. Incredible amount of work that Ellie's been working on. I guess that is it that I want to report on right now for sustainability projects. And Ellie will speak to the Clean Energy Communities Leadership Round and later on in the agenda. Is that on the agenda? Yes. Okay, so then any questions on any of that?
Julie?
Yep.
I didn't quite understand the fee for the EVs charging. Could you explain that again for me, please?
Yes. So right now we have around the city, both city and county sanctioned electric vehicle charging stations. They may be in parking lots that are metered. They may be not in parking lots that are metered. That it's not about the metering. You have to pay the meter no matter what no matter what vehicle you're driving, you have to pay the meter. However, what we see sometimes is that people that are not driving electric vehicles are parking in those spots.
Got it.
If you're not an electric vehicle and you're parking there, you could get a ticket.
Got it. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah. Previously, we didn't have that on the book, so you could get a warning, but there was no.
Amen.
Any other questions or comments? All right, over to Melissa for Repair Cafe.
Okay. I don't really have much. There's been some activity, but I was actually out of town for a whole month. Didn't have my personal laptop with me. I was working from home in Queens, where my family is and where I'm from. So I just got back Monday and I have a lot of emails to catch up on, and I'm very sorry, but I don't have anything for you guys today.
No problem. How was Queens?
It was great. I saw some high school friends and caught up with people. It was nice because, you know, before Corona, I would only go for maybe a weekend and could only see one person, and then my family would give me guilt if I went too far from the house. So it was nice to stay for a long amount of time and just see everyone I need to see and eat amazing vegan food and yeah.
It's awesome. Well, we're glad to have you back. I'm glad you had a great time, but we're happy to have you back.
Thank you.
Do you have any update on outreach or education stuff?
No, I've been very out of the loop on things. I kind of just took some personal time.
That's great. That's no problem at all. All right. Anyone else have anything on outreach, education, or Repair Cafe that they wanted to report on? Okay. Green Business Challenge and Green Jobs. Betta, do you have anything you wanted to report, or is there anyone else that wanted to report on that?
Let's see. I have a little bit of a Green Jobs report. Citizens for Local Power graduated the second cohort of but green job interns in their program, which is very cool. And I attended the little celebration where they got their certificates. This is the Green Jobs apprenticeship program that CLP started. And they had the graduation at Harambe, which is the newly kind of renovated green building at the African burial site. And so that happened on Monday, and I can put a link in the chat if people are interested in learning more about that program. So that was great, but as far as the Green Business Challenge, I unfortunately don't have any updates. Although I will say something else actually on the green jobs front. People may have heard about, you know, the infrastructure bill that's being debated in Washington, and hopefully will go forward. But one of the things that we're working on is, and I think I may have mentioned this last time, but is pushing our representatives to really support green jobs and housing, green affordable housing. And so we're having an event next Thursday with some, you know, experts on the subject, and everyone, you know, is invited. And we're actually having one of our own Kingston folks, Guy from RUPCO, is going to be talking about, you know, RUPCO's work, since they're actually really a leader in the green, you know, affordable housing world. So that should be great. And I can, yeah, put that in the chat too, if people are interested. And if Climate Smart Kingston, you know, wanted to sign on to our letter, that would be fantastic, which we're still circulating. And this is this letter to the New York State congressional delegation in support of green affordable housing and jobs. And I guess also, you know, just to that end, you know, it would be great if, I think, you know, we as a commission tried to, you know, support that idea. And I know that the land bank, you know, is renovating buildings right now and not necessarily using like the most green technologies. So I don't know if it's something that like Climate Smart Kingston could potentially, you know, lend support for that institution to use, you know, more green building technologies. But it's just something that's come to my attention because I've been really looking into this whole green affordable housing world and the various, you know, cutting edge kind of innovations that are happening across the state, and potentially how we could get a lot more money from the federal government to expand these programs, and also, you know, it lends itself to job creation as well, because if we're retrofitting buildings and doing more weatherization and energy efficiency and installing heat pumps, you know, it's also creating jobs. So it's kind of all connected. But I just, yeah, put the webinar link in the chat if you want to check that out. And then I can also put the letter, a link to the letter. And if we're still interested in signing on, you know, as a commission, I can certainly add us. We have about 60 organizations, including, you know, some that are based in our region, like RUPCO and Citizens for Local Power and New Yorkers for Clean Power, and Climate Smart, or none of the Climate Smarts, I guess, have signed on, but I also didn't do a concerted effort to like see if any other Climate Smart entities wanted to sign on, but there are, you know, a lot of different nonprofits that do environmental, energy, housing, health, and a couple of labor. So I put that in the chat too. And I'm happy to answer any questions now, or if you just want to contact me offline and have a longer conversation about it, I'd be glad to.
So are you making a motion for the council, for the commission to sign on to the letter?
Sure. Yes. Let's make a motion. But I don't know, you know, I should have followed up, I think, after our last meeting and shared the letter, and I may have meant to and didn't. So I don't expect people necessarily, you know, to be able to like vote now to sign on to it if they haven't read it. So, but at the same time, pardon?
What's the timeline?
Well, it is very timely, you know, because we are really starting to reach out and set up meetings with congressional staff. So it would be great if we could sign on sooner rather than later, like before the next meeting. So maybe could we have something where like people could review it, say over the next week? And then if there's no issues with it, maybe people could vote like via email or not, or we'll just approve it because nobody wrote that they had problems with it. I don't think we've ever done that though, as a commission, like voted over email. Maybe we can't do that.
I don't think we can.
Well, yeah, it's probably too long for people to give approval on now, I'm guessing. I mean, it's hard to say, you know, if you click on that link, you'll see there's a lot of fantastic organizations that have signed on. And it is a great letter, but I also, you know, don't want to put pressure on people. So
can people sign on to it as individuals?
Not at this time. This time it's really just for organizations. But we will have an opportunity for individuals to take action that we'll be promoting at the online teach-in that we're doing next Thursday, July 1st. So if people join that, they'll, you know, learn more about kind of what they can do as individuals. And I can also, if you're on our list, the New Yorkers for Clean Power email list, then you'll get an alert about it. But as of right now, we don't have something for individuals to do. But you know, it's definitely going to be an ongoing movement building endeavor, you know, to make this happen. And I think locally, the most, you know, obvious opportunity is probably, you know, with the land bank, and also, you know, I don't know what Kingston has, you know, done or what the plans are to do with the money that came from the American Rescue Plan. But I know that money can be spent on affordable housing and, you know, childcare and job related stuff. So, you know, maybe there's also like a tie-in there, but then again, like hopefully there'll be a lot more money coming if this infrastructure bill moves forward. So, you know, I'd be interested, not necessarily, I don't want to put you on the spot now, Julie, but, you know, hearing in the future kind of like, yeah, what the plans are for how that money will be spent. And I'm not even sure how much money it is off the top of my head. But I know that, right, I mean,
It's about 18 million.
18 million, yeah. So if any of that money can go towards supporting affordable housing and green affordable housing, right? Because like we don't want to be putting in fossil fuel heating systems if we can help it. as a city that's committed to climate and sustainability. So that's all I got on that.
Better, it's Kevin. And one question is there a deadline on this letter? Signing on to it?
I mean, it's kind of rolling, where I already sent the letter to all of the congressional staff contacts that I had, but we're now going to be doing follow-up calls and setting up meetings. And, I'm sure it's going to take a little time to actually get on people's radar. So if, a group wanted to be added, we could update, the list and update the website, and then say we have a meeting with Delgado, we would be inviting the representatives from the group, groups like Climate Smart Commission, or if you have another group in mind, Kevin, that would want to, be involved in that, because of course it always helps to have groups that are more locally based. And, our representatives want to hear from their constituents. So, yeah. So that's, and we have, some locally based groups, but no Kingston groups, which is too bad. I mean, we have some groups that are active in Kingston, like Nobody Leaves Mid-Hudson, and, the groups I already mentioned, but we don't have the Kingston, name anywhere.
The letter looks pretty good. I mean, I just sort of, while you were speaking, just sort of scanned it, pretty fast, but, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm
know if-
quite proud with how it came together.
Yeah.
And give Jen Metzger, who many of you know, our most recently state senator just south of here, and before that was the executive director of Citizens for Local Power. She actually did a tremendous job, kind of, on the content of the letter, because she's now working as a policy advisor for New Yorkers for Clean Power. So very grateful to her for doing such a great job, and excited to just kind of keep growing this. We're not calling it a coalition, but at the top we have this Partners for Green Affordable Housing and Jobs, and so hoping to keep growing that and building kind of the momentum. So I would say even if Climate Smart, our Climate Smart Commission can't sign on in the next week, or another group can't sign in the next week, let me know next month, if we want to put it on the agenda for next month, and I'm sure it won't be too late, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with making the motion, but other people here would have to take a few seconds and read it.
Yeah, I also scanned it and it looks, I would feel comfortable. You might as well, I mean, we could see what folks think.
Well, why don't we, if we're going to even entertain it, let's start with a motion.
Right, so.
I'll make the motion.
And the motion is to
sign on to the Green Affordable Housing Jobs letter with, the link to which was provided by Veta.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so now let's have discussion. Is there any discussion about it?
I haven't been able to read it very closely, but I read most of it and scanned the rest of it. It looks like it's very much in line with what we have talked about as a group. And yeah, I feel okay about signing on to it. Time being of the essence.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
The second was Roberta?
Yes.
Second
Okay.
was
That's what I thought. Okay, got it. You're good.
okay, so if there's no other discussion,
You're having a feedback loop.
I think that's Karen.
Yep.
Karen, I muted you. We were getting feedback from you. Yeah, yep. But Karen, were you trying to say something? If you're trying to say something, give me a thumbs up. Okay. Okay, so then if there's no other discussion, then I'm going to call for the vote. All in favor of the Climate Smart Kingston Commission signing on as a signatory to the Partners for Green Affordable Housing and Jobs letter presented by Betta, say aye or give me a thumbs up.
Aye.
Okay. No one is opposed and no one's abstaining. Everyone is unanimous.
Wow, that's so great. Thank you guys so much. That's amazing. I'm very excited to be able to add Climate Smart Kingston to the list.
All right.
Yay.
When you have that final version with our name on it, can you please send me that?
Absolutely. I will make that happen mañana.
Okay.
And Betta, I'll forward that over to Julia Farr and Ted at the Land Trust as well, and Shaniqua.
Okay, that would be great. Thanks, Kevin.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion on this or Green Business Challenge or Green Jobs? All right. So then moving on to zoning. Anything from Kevin?
Nothing since that article came out a few weeks ago that had to do with the funding and the delays, that are occurring. So I've inquired, but I haven't gotten a clear answer out of anyone as to where Dover Coal is at on the contract. Other than, the sort of these, reports that there's, the city's trying to come up with the funding for it from that enterprise grant, also known as the Alden grant, but I don't know if that's still a live discussion or where that's at. I just, so,
Okay.
yeah, but that'll be continued.
Okay. Anyone else have anything on zoning they wanted to add? Okay. Renewable energy. We did focus a lot on Solarize Kingston, but is there anything else on renewable energy anyone wants to add? Okay. Clean energy communities, Ellie and or Jess, you want to give us an update?
Yeah, so Solarize Kingston is one of the clean energy community's high impact actions. So once we get 10 subscribers from Kingston, we will be awarded 200 points and a $5,000 action grant, which will bring our total grant money, the grant funding from NYSERDA, up to $50,000. So we are going to be set at $50,000. The $70,000 grants unfortunately went to communities in Westchester. But with that $50,000, we are still planning to do solar on the Andy Murphy Center. We are going to have a conversation with, the mayor, potentially the legislative branch is kind of up in the air right now, but hopefully we can get a little bit more funding for a full array on the roof, because it's a pretty big roof that requires a big array, and we want to cover as much of our energy use as possible. So that's what I have for CEC. No word yet on a car. I know we've been kind of bringing that up every once in a while, but we were waiting for a plug-in vehicle. Still no word on the plug-in vehicle. I don't know, Jess, if you have anything.
Nope, nothing from me.
Any questions for Ellie or comments on that? The awards, by the way, the final awards went out today. So we found out today that we are not in the running anymore. But congratulations to everyone in Westchester.
Yeah, it was Dobbs Ferry, Croton-on-Hudson, Hastings-on-Hudson, and Town of Bedford. What are you gonna do?
As I have said to Ellie, at least we know that there's more clean energy in the state because people are taking action. And if a competition gets us all to compete against each other to do more actions, then so be it. Bring it on.
True. At least we know how much money we have now, and we can move forward with our projects. So
that's right. All right, thank you, Ellie. Solid waste management. I'm not sure I have any other updates, except that there are new totes. I think I mentioned the last month, but there are more street cans that are being put out, and more additional ones are going to be put in mid and downtown as well. I think a question came up at the last meeting as to whether or not it says anything besides recycle on the side of it, and it does. If you look at the top of the street cans, it says cans, bottle, it does not say paper. It says all the other things besides paper, like cans, bottles, and something, or metal, plastic, and glass.
Okay.
I will say it is going to be a challenge with street cans to get compliance. Lots of people put lots of random things in street cans. So we're going to do what we can, but it's got to be an educational effort that I will work on till I can't anymore. It's really hard to get folks to comply street side, but we are providing the opportunity and we're going to work towards it. Okay, any other old business? We don't have any new business on the agenda. So moving on to announcements, communications, events, and updates. Serena is not here, but so Kevin, did you go to public safety?
I'm sorry. No, I didn't. I think I was supposed to go the next week for the CAC. Emily Hauser, our new chairperson, had asked me to do that, and I can fill in for Serena if she can't make it and represent this commission as well.
Okay, can you reach out directly to Serena to see about that?
Yeah, I'll find out from her if she can do it, and if she can't, I can do that next week since we don't have this meeting dovetailing with the next one. Yeah, that'll work.
I will just emphasize that whoever goes should really be talking about the climate action plan as early on as possible, so that by the time we are going to the councils for adoption, everyone is ready to go and ready to sign on. So
should we forward them a draft of the matrix, or?
I don't think we need to forward them anything right now, just so
Okay.
that they're aware that the process is going on. The CADMIS is working with us, the CLP is working with us, that
Just basics is what they need to know.
very
Right.
basic, and that eventually we're going to be coming to them for.
Right, but if somebody asks and they start diving into the weeds.
You can go to engagekingston.com. There's a whole page.
Okay, we'll send them over there. Okay,
Yep,
that sounds
everything is there.
that sounds all good. Okay, then so if Serena can't do it, I'll be there anyway for the CAC, and if she, otherwise we'll coordinate for this commission.
Thank you. Betta or Cal, any update from the Ulster County Climate Smart Committee?
Didn't bring notes.
Well, we didn't, I don't think, have the meeting, right? Because this month, like, we're having this meeting before that meeting.
Right. I think I
Have we
updated
met?
from last month at the previous meeting. Right. We
Right.
had, like, Ulster, Kingston, Ulster, this particular time
Mhm.
around. So nothing new.
Nothing new.
Okay. Does anyone have any general announcements, events, or updates that they would like to give?
Well, I was confused. Is Joey Lynn a member of the commission? Because I was gonna see if she wanted to take over the Facebook posting, because I've kind of fell by the wayside of that.
She has not, to my
Has
knowledge.
she been? Okay, dang. All right. She's younger, so I was like, maybe she can get the handle on the social media. Okay, yeah, because I've kind of not been posting. I will try to start again. It's just, I feel like with social media, to be good at it, you have to be consistent. And I just don't know if I have the time, to be honest. I'm trying, or I was trying for some time, but I kind of stopped.
Is there anyone else that can help out?
I always say I'm going to help out and don't either, but yes, I'm really trying to get better at social media. So
It would definitely be great to at least post about the Solarize Kingston campaign.
yes, definitely we'll post about that. Ellie, can you send like something that we can share?
Yeah, for sure. There's a press release probably going out tomorrow, a flyer, all kinds of stuff. I have a suggestion about social media.
Okay.
I don't think I can necessarily take it over because I'm on here as the engineering representative and I have to get approval from the engineer and it's not really engineering work. But you know, if everybody could come up with like one social media post and then send it to Melissa, and then Melissa could just have them in a queue and just like post them like once every like 4 days throughout the month or something like that. That way, not all the pressure is on Melissa. And it's an easy way, and it doesn't take that long, you know, come up with an article or something. If anyone would want to do that, I mean, I sure can.
I would love that because it's the content also that is just the time consuming part, like for sure.
Okay, so is there a way that we can facilitate that happening? Should I be sending out reminders to people or?
Well, what we could do is we could create a shared Google, maybe a Drive or a Doc or something like that. And people could just, I don't know, put some text, a couple pictures, just put some copy in there. So, you know, when it's time for Melissa to post something, she can just pull from this folder of stuff. You know, you take like 5 minutes once a month to write something quick.
Okay.
Would that work?
Melissa, would that work for you?
Oh, you're asking me. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put too much pressure on other people to do all the legwork if no one has time.
Not to push back on the idea, but I manage the same kind of system for the intentional community I live in. It is like pulling teeth to get someone to be like, here's my 4 sentences in a photo for this week. So I don't know if that's much of an improvement. I don't know.
I mean, if do we have a listserv, Julie? I feel like we've gone over this before and I always like forget. But if there was, you know, like a Google group that we may have had at one point, and people could just email, you know, if there are articles or things that, you know, we want to post, then that would like go to everyone. And those of us who are administrators, you know, could then go online and post it. You know, I just feel like, yeah, creating a whole other system might end up being even more burdensome to those of us who are admins and to the group.
So I don't, if I did set up a Google group ever, we're definitely not using it. I think,
Yeah, I think you did actually. Am I crazy? Do people remember this?
I think we tried. I don't know if it ever got off the ground.
Yeah.
I remember having that conversation.
Yeah. Can someone set up a Google group? Because it probably would, you know, be helpful. So
I mean, I think that it is already, but I can check into it. And if it isn't, I will set one up.
Okay. Also, can I just ask a quick question? Because I was modifying the letter as we speak. Do we want to be called Climate Smart Kingston Commission or just Climate Smart Kingston on the letter?
I like commission.
I use them
No.
interchangeably. But I will say, to me, Climate Smart Kingston is the initiative, the principle, and the commission. The commission is these people. But I personally like the way that it looks to write Climate Smart Kingston as is without commission. But it's literally not up to me. It's up to you all, because you all voted for putting yourself on the letter. So really, actually, it should be Kevin, because Kevin is the one who made the motion.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be Kevin. It doesn't have to be Kevin, but everyone should at least.
No, we should clarify it. Well, we are the commission, so it probably should be the commission. Unless,
Second that.
yeah, okay, let me take a look at the logo though to see. No,
The logo doesn't say commission. The logo,
Right.
so I'm gonna add the logo, but I'm also gonna list, you know, just the.
Yeah, it should say commission in the text, and then, you know, when you put the logo, if you're going to use the logo, assuming you
Yeah.
are,
Mhm.
I'm maybe assuming a lot there, but if you do,
No, I am. I'm going to.
oh, okay, then it'll say what it says, and then the written text will say commission. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way to do
All
it.
right. Does everybody agree with that?
Hmm.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, so I think at this point, what we can do is we'll continue to generate social media posting ideas at our meetings. I will do my best, and others hopefully can as well, to remind folks to continue to send Melissa and Betta ideas for posting. Whether you're just forwarding something that they can copy and paste, or whether you're creating your own content. And we'll hope to keep that as active as we can, until we get somebody else who wants to really step it up a little bit. And I'm not dismissing what you all are doing, but I recognize that it is a lot of work. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. So then for this, are there no other communications events or updates? So then for this month, we talked about posting Solarize campaign. Are there other things that we would like to post for now?
Try to gather some stuff like I do a lot of like NOAA data, climate stuff. Would that be interesting? I'm less on like the greenhouse gas emission side of things and kind of more focused on the like science side, like the, adaptation side, but I'm happy to pull some content together there.
Yeah, anything that you think people would want to read up on. I also did this Tip Tuesday thing where I was doing environmental tips. I did it for like 3 weeks, but then I ran out of ideas. Yeah, any events going on, I try to look at and repost. Yeah, anything you want to send me, I can write a post for.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And by the way, we did get a lot of new people and a lot of page activity when we were doing our Earth Day stuff and the pizza sticker campaign. So I just want to like keep that up, that momentum of like new people and engaging people, not just in the environmental community, but in the city of Kingston. So, okay.
Right. Okay, any other business? If not, I need a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Okay, Cal, can I have a second?
Second.
Betta, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It is 6:39. This meeting is now adjourned. I'm going to stop recording.